How I'm using Jane's AI Scribe to free up time and reduce overwhelm as an introvert acupuncturist. As an acupuncturist, I love my work and every single patient who walks through my door, but I'll be honest, as an introvert, seeing a lot of people in a single day can be a bit draining. Recently, I had a 12 patient day. That's a lot for me. My ideal day is around 8 or 9 patients, but you know how it goes. Patient numbers ebb and flow, and this happened to be one of those big weeks. I've been using Jane's AI Scribe in my practice for months now, and this 12 patient day was a big test. I wanted to stay focused on my patients and move seamlessly from one patient to the next. I get a little overwhelmed when I see a packed schedule with a lot of overlap, and I know I need to dial in and focus to avoid falling behind. One thing I hate at my acupuncture practice is running late with patients. I know so many patients have to sit and wait for their appointments with their doctor, so I do my absolute best to avoid that at my practice for their sake. I also know that after about 8 patients in a single day, my charting starts to fall behind, and I will put off charting until the next day. Especially the charts for the end of day patients, when everything is get backed up, they're definitely getting done the following day. I don't know about you, but the following day, my memory is not as sharp, and I know that the notes I write up the following day are not as detailed as I'd like. So for all these reasons, I am really grateful to have Jane's AI Scribe tool. So my goal for this 12 patient day was to see if using Jane's AI Scribe could actually help me stay on top of my charting, move easily from one patient to the next, stay on time with patients all day, and reduce overall stress. And after this very long day at the office, I am genuinely impressed. AI Scribe takes better notes than I usually do, which is a little embarrassing, but true. And I estimate that it cut down my total note-taking time by 2 hours that day. That really freed me up to focus on my patients, dial into their treatment, and even to have extra time to sanitize tools like cups, gua sha tools, while patients were resting, so I didn't have to save all those chores for the end of the day. Plus, it simply reduced my overload as an introvert, managing more patients than usual. As I mentioned, I love each of my patients. They're wonderful, but each person requires and deserves my energy. Taken as an aggregate, 12 people can lead to feeling pretty drained at the end of the day. And not having charting on my to-do list freed up my mental load and my energy. So at the end of the day, I was still a little tired. It is still 12 people, but ultimately I felt much better than I normally would, lighter and more relaxed. And that surprised me, which is part of why I wanted to share it with you. So if you need more mental space and more time throughout your clinic workday, whether you're an introvert or not, I definitely recommend Jane's AI Scribe. So what is Jane's AI Scribe? AI Scribe is a documentation tool built directly into Jane app, which is the EMR and clinic management software that I've been using for years. It allows you to record your intake with the patient, transcribe that audio, and then turn it into a SOAP note, or whatever notes format you prefer. You can even choose how you want the note to be structured, paragraphs or bullet points, specific sections, and more. The AI is guided by your prompts, so you have full control over how the note is organized and what's included. And of course, the most common question that people ask me is, what about patient privacy and security? So this is a super important question, and Jane would never do anything with your data that isn't super secure. Jane's AI Scribe is fully HIPAA compliant and HIPAA-compliant for my Canadian friends. Just to be clear, Jane does not share your clinic data or your patient data, or use it to train their AI features. Everything stays within your secure Jane account. And if you want, you can delete each recording immediately after AI Scribe has transcribed it into a clinic note. So here's how I'm using Jane's AI Scribe in my acupuncture practice. I ask the patient for permission to use AI Scribe. I usually tell them that I'm using an AI-powered note taker and ask if they mind, and then I hit record during their intake. While they talk, I listen without pausing to take notes or scribble things down or type on my computer. I'm able to maintain eye contact, stay fully engaged, and hold space for whatever the patient is sharing without rehearsing what I'm going to have to write down later. Afterwards, I stop AI Scribe and let it do its thing. Within a few seconds, it drafts a subjective chart note that is surprisingly accurate and well structured. I do a quick read through, make any edits as needed, add my treatment like acupuncture points, cupping, gua sha, etc., and it's done. Then I can sign. So people also ask me, do your patients mind? Do they care that it's an AI-powered note-taking tool? And I've been pleasantly surprised. So far, every single patient has said yes when I ask if I can use AI Scribe during their treatment. I just tell them, I have a new note-taking tool. Sometimes I don't even mention that it's AI-powered. I have a new note-taking tool. Do you mind if I use it? Most people say sure, and then they immediately jump into how they've been feeling. They don't even think twice about it. And I think people really appreciate that I'm focused on them instead of typing behind a screen. It makes the appointment feel much more conversational, and I appreciate that AI Scribe is catching the details in the background while I focus on the patient. So is AI Scribe perfect? Of course not. It's not magic, but it is pretty outstanding. Like most AI tools, the more you use it and the more specific you are with the prompts that you provide for it, the better results you'll see. I've found that refining my prompts over time has reduced the amount of editing that I have to do for my chart notes afterwards. And Jane offers step-by-step instructions for setting up AI Scribe, including your prompts, in case you're unfamiliar with prompt writing. It's very simple. And while AI Scribe occasionally does make small mistakes, I will admit again that it typically takes better notes than I do. And I think this is because I'm usually trying to multitask while I'm taking notes with a patient. Or sometimes I couldn't quite remember a detail because they're talking and I'm a couple sentences behind them while I'm typing. And then I have to ask them to go back and say, what day did you say you saw your cardiologist? Now I can be present with my patients, knowing the notes will still get done and be done well. So here's what I love the most about Jane's AI Scribe. Charting only takes about 20% of the mental load that it used to, which is amazing. This definitely reduces my mental fatigue on busy patient days. I have much more time while patients are resting to do my office chores. My notes are done by the end of the day. And they're more accurate. No more trying to remember the next day. Did I end up using spleen 6 on that patient? And I feel less stressed all day and much more focused on the person. As an introvert who values both patient care and practitioner sustainability, this tool has really helped me find balance during my workday. If you're already using Jane, I highly recommend checking out AI Scribe. It's a feature built right into Jane, so no additional tabs or tools are needed. I'll put a link in the show notes to a page that has instructions for how to turn on AI Scribe inside of Jane. I'll also include some other helpful articles in the show notes, like a guide to getting started and how to talk to patients and get consent. If you're not using Jane yet and you want to see what the buzz is all about, you can click the link in the description to book a free demonstration with the Jane support team. They will walk you through the back end of Jane, show you what everything looks like, and answer all your questions so that you can make sure that Jane is actually a good fit for your clinic and your needs. And you can use the code AcuSchool1MO to get a free month on me. As acupuncturists, we have to be on in clinic all day long. This is a beautiful thing. Giving someone your time and your attention is one of the greatest gifts, but it can be a little draining during super busy days. Tools like AI Scribe help us give better care without giving up our time, our energy, or our emotional balance. It's not about doing more. It's about making your work smoother, easier, and more human. In my opinion, that is exactly what great technology should do. I hope you'll check out Jane's AI Scribe. The link is in the description box below.